Hey, this is Dave from metalepidemic.com. Thank you for checking out our YouTube video. Please feel free to hit the subscribe button below if you like this type of content, and we hope you enjoy the review. What's up guys, Dave here from Metal Epidemic, back with another album review. And for this review, Duncan Kyle and I have been checking out the new release from Birmingham Shoegaze 4-piece Outlander. The band's new EP, Sundowning, Unconditional, will be released on June 25th via Church Road Records. So, these guys have recently just dropped a full-length album back in 2019 called The Valium Machine. But they have returned this year with a new 2-track EP. The EP was recorded and mixed over a 4-day period by Neil Kennedy at the Ranch Production House and mastered by Jack Shirley at the Atomic Garden. I hadn't heard of these guys before, but I must admit when I see, a couple of things. When I see Church Road Records now, I'm always keen to check out whoever it is that's on Church Road Records because they are killing it right now with their bands. And also when I see anything involving shoegaze, I'm just always intrigued to check it out. It's a genre that, for me, when it's done right, it can be pretty special stuff. So I'm always down to check out some shoegaze. I mentioned already, or I've mentioned on previous reviews, I'm not a big EP guy. I prefer a full-length album. EPs, some I love, some not so much. But there was definite keywords in the press release that did pique my interest enough to add this to our kind of review pile. As I say, it's only 2 tracks, but the EP still clocks in at about 17 minutes, so there's still, enough to get your teeth into on this. Okay, so I'm not going to lie here, I listened to this EP on loop for about an hour. I love this type of stuff. I'm an absolute mark for it, but I love this type of stuff. Bands like Nothing and Yezu and Holy Fawn or Spotlights, bands that have this kind of incredible ability to create something so vast, yet it's kind of emotionally charged. It just kind of does something to me, and I can't help but be sucked in by it. And now I'm going to add Outlander to that list. As soon as I'd listened to that EP, I went right onto Spotify to check out their last album, the Valium Machine. And I think this is why this is a very clever release from Outlander. If, like me, you're into bands that mix that kind of reverb drenched chords that kind of toe the line between shoegaze and doom and kind of post rock, this is an ideal kind of taster to get you into this band. I instantly wanted to go and check out what they'd done before. And as I say, I'm more a kind of full length album guy, so the fact they just put out something in 2019 was kind of perfect. And it's a great release, but what I would say is I actually preferred the EP, which is kind of strange for me because, as I say, I'm usually kind of more drawn to a full-length album, but there was something about the kind of urgency on this release that the Valium Machine didn't have. It very much kept the tempo kind of slow on the Valium Machine. The chords are very kind of droning, whereas this EP, it has moments that are a bit more up-tempo. It did remind me of that kind of the Tired of Tomorrow era of Nothing, that particular album, where there's a little bit more of almost like a kind of indie or alternative streak to it. It probably caught my ear more in terms of the riff and the hooks, especially on the first track, Sundowning. And now that I've kind of listened to the last album, I could absolutely hear that they've started to evolve their sound on this EP, even though it was possibly a little more conventional than some of the material on the Valium Machine. You could definitely hear that they're growing and they're trying different things with this release. The second track, Unconditional, which it's a little slower in pace, but it felt more abrasive, more kind of direct than the first track. There's a lot of big moments where you just feel like you're kind of get hit with this wall of sound. And it was on this track that I could hear some more of those kind of doomier tones starting to come through. Not like a kind of like Conan style doom tones, but a bit more subtle than that. But certainly some of the chord choices and the dynamics gave it that kind of doomier, kind of more of a kind of undertone to the track. And that second track is nearly completely void of vocals as well. There's some really kind of quietly placed vocals at the start of the track, but as it proceeds, the track pretty much continues totally instrumentally, but it completely held my attention. You know, even at like 10 minutes in length, it had me totally hooked in. The production on this for me is just absolutely perfect. It sounds a little different to the 2019 release, maybe a little kind of grainier, a little grittier in places, but I kind of liked that about it. They've managed to capture that feeling, as I say, that kind of wall of sound feeling, but it still has a very kind of airy kind of feeling at the same time. It's very organic, very natural, and I thought it was kind of perfectly suited to their sound. They're a band that I'd never heard of before, but after listening to this EP and going back and checking out the album, they're a band that are now completely on my radar. As I said, I love this type of stuff, so it ticked all the boxes for me. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Duncan, what did you make of Outlander?
When this one came through, downloaded it, swung it on to Apple Music. Other music player things are available to people out there. From the artwork and the name of the band and the songs, what I was expecting was black metal. And really? I was like, why is Dave doing this to me? Why is he doing this to me? What have I done to upset him? Is this retribution for the feedback he's been getting from that Fear Factory review? Maybe this is my penance. And then I hit play, and yeah, you're not just a mark for this sort of stuff. I fucking love it. Absolutely love it. To me, I wouldn't even necessarily say the band are... Like, shoegaze is one of these malleable sort of genres. Very, very similar to, like, a Doom. Doom, when you described it there. Doom can go from, like, bands that sound like fucking Saint Vitus right through to bands that sound like Conan. And everyone's like, yeah, they're a Doom band. You're like, what kind of Doom band are they? Are they fucking 70s Doom? Are they crushing fucking... Are they a piano dropped from a large building on my head Doom? Where are we in the middle here? And shoegaze is kind of the same. Shoegaze, I think, more describes the space that bands create in their music than it necessarily describes the way the instrumentation's used or whatever, because, as you pointed out, there are moments here where the band kick things up and moments where they don't. There are moments here where there's there's like, it's like layered like vocals, and like it really grabs your attention. Then there's other bits which are, happy to go many minutes without any of that at all. I think it's all to do with space, and I was floored by this. I think this is absolutely fucking awesome. Very much like yourself, where you were talking about playing it for an hour. I think I've listened to this because it's got 2 tracks, 17 minutes, right? Still 17 minutes for 2 tracks. But I've listened to this like 8 times. And I fucking love it. It reminds me of so much that other bands have done. And I think the word that was missing from your review is hypnotic. I think because there is this repetition of riffs and that part of that zoning out, or that shoegazing, so to speak, is the hypnotic element of the band, but they never really let rest on their laurels. The next time something loops back in, they might be doing something slightly different or building on it, starting to build layers on it, and I think that's where they shine here. I would never have pegged them as a British band at all. I had it in my head American, and it's because this kind of music is being incorporated elsewhere. We spoke most recently in our podcast about the fact that Death Heaven have a brand new track out. Death Heaven are a band that constantly sway into shoegaze territory. For me, for the better. It's what makes their music really interesting. But when you listen to Sundowning here, there are elements of Yezu for sure, but there's elements, things like the Deftones and the way that the chords go. I love the fact that you used indie when you were talking about the guitars have a kind of indie feel about it, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't have balls behind it, because it fucking does. The production is 100% suited here. This feels like it could have been recorded last week. Feels like it could have been recorded a decade ago. There's no way to really pin it down, but it doesn't at any point feel dated. It totally works with the sound. And I loved the instrumentation on this one. I really, really did. I thought the guitar work was sparse in bits, but still really interesting and then engaging. There are sections here where the same riff is played for maybe 2.5 minutes on a loop, and they're slowly building up to something, and you think right, next loop, next one. It's the kind of musical equivalent of Mel Gibson and Braveheart saying hold. It captivated me. And when you swung into Unconditional, which, as you mentioned, is almost a completely instrumental track, to have a track that length and be as engaging and rewarding to listen to is no mean feat. I knew nothing about the band. You probably saw me as soon as you said this band released an album in 2019. I've downloaded it now. While you're doing that, I was like, oh fuck! I'm very much like yourself. There's something about this band that's really quite exciting to listen to, and I'm fully aware that of most of the genres out there that fall into metal, this one is one of the most niche because a lot of people associate it with lack of energy, which I think is maybe the wrong approach. It's more about creating space and atmosphere than it is necessarily about thrashing your head till your neck breaks. These guys are fucking great. I love this, unabashedly love this release. I cannot wait. I'll give us an album. I'm going to do the reverse Dave here. I'm going to do the reverse distant is what we're going to call it. Give me an album. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah, nice one. Kyle.
Dream killer. Ooh, dream. I could see it in his eyes when we started speaking. He is not a fan, Dave.
I will say it's produced perfectly for what it is. I'm not going to kill any dreams there. Absolutely not. It's really well produced. For the type of music it is, I could not fault that 1 second. There's no fuckery, nothing. It's all organic and it sounds great. But for me, I hated this more than I can describe. I didn't know what it was. I can tell what they were going for. And I like stuff like this, like Sun and stuff like that. Yeah. I could listen to that, but this, I just don't know what it was. It was like, for the love of fucking God, sing more than 2 fucking notes and strum a fucking pattern on the fucking guitars. 9 minutes of da, da, da. Oh, and you note da, da. Oh my! It really did my head in. I couldn't take it. And I
totally think we should have been doing this in cosplay. I would love to see Elton John tell me that he didn't like this. I don't know. I see why you guys like it, but it's not for me. It's absolutely, I could not get into it. I've liked stuff like this before, like I mentioned, Sun. I haven't listened to it in a while, so maybe I'm just not into it anymore. But for me, it was just, I could not get into it. I was like, oh my God, there's more than one rhythm, guys. Come on. Even as I've done slow songs, but you can make them interesting and build the scapes and build rhythms and build parts, and it's great. But they did none of that for me. They just carried on doing the same thing and adding one little bit by one little bit for 9.5 minutes. I think you missed was awesome there. 9.5 awesome minutes.
9.5 miserable fucking minutes.
Awesome minutes. Yes, I agree. Awesome minutes.
So it's not for me. Let's put it that way. They're probably amazing in their genre. I haven't a clue, but I'll never find out because fuck it.
You're fucking dead to me, Kyle.
Yeah, I knew that. This is my last review on the Metal Epidemic, by the way, guys. I'm
say your goodbyes.
Bye.
Fuck's sake, Kyle.
I'm allowed to not like things. You're allowed to not like goddamn Japanese.
It's my favorite thing now is though that it's either like Kyle. It's either I love it or I fucking hate it. There's no middle ground anymore. Like that middle ground's been destroyed by a year of reviewing Metal Epidemic.
You're reviewing a lot of crap
it's
production.
totally fucking gone. So it's one or the other. It makes me smile. Yes, you are allowed to not like something, Kyle, and don't let Dave try and bully you otherwise. Although Dave's room has got very dark in the last
It did, yeah.
bit at least. I can just see the glow of his eyes now.
Yeah. All I can see is white in his eye.
It's not anger, Kyle, it's just disappointment.
Oh, no, not that. I'm sorry, Dad. I'll make it up to you. I'll take the trash out later, alright? I'll do the dishes.
Fucking, I was hoping we would have the trilogy, guys. The three of us would just be behind this.
We're
and
twinning.
loving it. Fuck.
It's a twinning review.
There'll be another trilogy at some point, but not this one.
No. Pack your fucking bag.
Maybe I'll like their previous album. You said it was different to this.
I mean, yes, it's still shoegaze, kind of doomy shoegaze, but
I mean, Doom is great, but I just don't get the shoegaze thing. I just don't get it. I'm sorry.
It's like Duncan says, though. There's different types of Doom, and this is a specific type of Doom. It's quite a doomy undertone rather than like full on kind of Doom. Okay, so ratings for this one. I'm like you, Duncan. I just want a fucking album of this. I would love nothing more than just a full album of this, hearing them explore this sound even more. Because this EP, like, it shows like a band that for me are on the cusp of great things. Like, I can't wait to hear what they go on to do next. This is, I mean, it's close to perfect. I just wish it was longer. I'm going 4.5 on this. Really enjoyed this one.
I love how your grading and description there is pretty much how I talk about my dick, you know. Just wish it was longer and it's almost perfect. So yeah,
1.5 inches.
This is a Duncan's dick out of 5.
This is a Duncan's dick out of 5. Yeah, warts and all. Yeah, I'm with you. 4.5. It's damn near perfect. I think this is fucking great. Yeah, and I will be going back to check out their older stuff. I will be 100% for sure checking out their next release, and if they come anywhere in the vicinity, which is easy for me to go and check them out live, I will be fucking there. So 4.5 out of 5.
Nice.
And we're losing Kyle here. We've lost Kyle. He has sent me a message though. 4.5 out of 5 from
My imaginary tunnel in Duncan's mind. Nah, I can't. I mean, it's well produced and it's well done for what it is, and it's well played, and they clearly know how to play. It's not like they're a bunch of idiots trying to play music. It's not black metal. Let's put it that way. It's so I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 because it is good for what it is. It's just not my goddamn thing at all whatsoever. So
it's not his bag, baby. Yeah.
You.
This one drops on June 25th on Church Road Records. If you want to check the guys out, it's facebook.com/Outlander the band. I will put a link in the description below to their Facebook and to the pre-save for the album, or EP, sorry. Let us know what you think. I think you've released one of the tracks already. Give it a listen. Let us know your thoughts. That is the review. Much appreciated for checking it out. We'll be back with another review very soon, but until then, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye, everyone.
See you later.